Are you sick of being hit with skill builds? Are you sick of status effects messing with your gameplay? Are you sick of being staggered by all of those explosives and going down by mortars and other one-hit explosive builds? Well, in today's build video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a build to counter all of those. This is the ultimate tank build that will not be affected by skills or explosives. This thing is legit. Here we go. What's going on, YouTube? Kamikazevondoom here with another Division 2 build video. Now, shout out to the DoD Disciples of Doom. And in today's build video, I'm going to bring to you the best resistance tank you're going to be able to make right now in Year 6, Season 1. So sit back, relax, grab that popcorn. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know what you think in the comments section below. But like I was just saying, today's build video is going to be a counter to all of those things. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, this thing not only has extremely high explosive resistance, but it also has extremely high hazard protection. But I also have damage on the build, which is pretty nice. So it's not a full-on tank that shoots marshmallows. This actually does a little bit of damage. It's not bad. About 300k damage per bullet in the Dark Zone with a tank build. And I have gameplay to show you. So I hope you enjoy that part. The timestamps and all that will be added after the live premiere, so I'll go back and add the timestamps, and that way you can, fast forward and do whatever you need to. But first, let's do the build breakdown. Now, starting off at the top, we are using the Demolitionist specialization. And the reason why we are using the Demolitionist specialization is because it gives you burn resistance. So with this build combination, you're actually sitting at 90% hazard, but with the demo, you're at 100% burn. We also have 100% bleed, ensnare, and shock, I believe. So you're not going to be affected by any of those status effects at all. And not only that, but we are at 90% explosive resistance. So all of that explosive damage is pretty much gone, out the window. Tier 6 mortars, forget about it. They barely even touch you. And you're sitting at 1.7 million armor, so you have a little bit of damage to fall back on. And with some other talents and things like that to add to it. And I'll explain more of that in a little bit. But Demolitionist specialization, it is a must for this build combination just because I wanted to have 100% ensnare, I wanted to have 100% shock, and 100% bleed. So to get that 100% burn, I had to use the Demolitionist specialization. Now, as far as the weapons and all of that, you can use whatever you want. It truly does not matter. It really doesn't. However, I am using the capacitor. There's really no rhyme or reason. I'm enjoying it. The capacitor's fun. It has damage to armor and damage targets at a cover on here. It's sitting at 103k base, and I'm just chilling. It's a lot of fun. I'll show you some gameplay. But you can use whatever weapons you want. It truly does not matter. It doesn't. The only thing that matters is the specialization and this build combination. You can do whatever weapons, whatever skills, doesn't matter, because it's all going to have the exact same result. However, if you're nasty and you didn't want to do like damage skills, you could easily do a booster hive and never have to worry about anything ever again. But I like to push the envelope a little bit. So what I did is I went with 2 damage skills. I went with a damage talent on the chest piece, and I went with a damage weapon for the most part. So again, whatever weapons you want, doesn't matter. Let's talk about the build. We have 5 blue core attributes. This gives us 1.7 million armor. However, remember that I do have a little bit of expertise upgrades on here, but it's really not going to do much for your armor. It's mainly just for the weapon and the skills. Because remember, in the Dark Zone, all of your expertise does matter. So it does, count that I do have a fully maxed out capacitor. Now, as far as more of a deep dive into the build, We are running 2 pieces of Richter and Kaiser, 1 piece of Yalgear, 2 pieces of Cheska, and 1 piece of Lingmo. Now, starting with the Richter and Kaiser, just because in my opinion, these are going to be the hardest pieces for you to farm because you have to get them with hazard and explosive resistance. That way you can roll a armor core for that attribute. Now, Richter and Kaiser. Why am I using Richter and Kaiser? Well, because the 2-piece for Richter and Kaiser, the brand set bonus, gives us 25% explosive resistance. Now, yes, I also have incoming repairs, but I'm not really I really don't care about it. It's all about being a tank and you're being resistant to everything, so it really doesn't matter about the incoming repairs, but I guess it could help you out if you wanted to have like a reinforcer chem launcher or maybe like a fixer drone, something like that to heal you while you're getting all of this incoming damage, but you really don't need it, truly. With this build, and once you see the gameplay, nothing's really going to hit you. So whatever you put on top of this build, it's just going to make it even stronger. And that's why I'm trying to show you the most bare bones version. That way you can just plug and play whatever weapons and skills you want and then just go to town. Because this is ridiculously strong. You're going to be able to walk through skills, walk through mortars, walk through whatever skill players want to try to come at you. You're going to walk through all of that. Now, as far as the attributes for this Richter and Kaiser, we do have armor for the core, explosive resistance, and hazard, which are prerequisites for this build. Every single item on this build is going to have explosive resistance and hazard. For the mod, I do have shock resistance on here just to make sure I'm at 100% shock. That way no one sneaks up on me with like a shocker punch or like a St. Elmo's engine or anything like that. Now, as far as the backpack talent, I am using Adrenaline Rush. Now, the reason for this is if anyone is like trying to rush me while I'm going through their skills and mortars or whatever, I'm going to get that bonus armor to help me be a little bit more tanky. Now, remember, Adrenaline Rush, it gives you 20% bonus armor whenever you're within 10 meters of an enemy, and that will stack up to 3 times. So you can get upwards of 60% bonus armor just from the backpack talent. However, let me put on the normalized stats. So this is for the Dark Zone, and this is where I'm going to be testing it and showing you the gameplay, is because in the Dark Zone, these attributes are changed because of PvP. So Adrenaline Rush for PvP is half. You only get 10% bonus armor instead of 20. So instead of 60%, you're only going to get a max of 30, which, you know, sucks, but it's all right. It's PvP. Now, the other piece of Richter and Kaiser is the holster. Again, armor for the core, hazard, and explosive resistance. Next up, let's talk about the Cheska pieces. Now, I am using just one weapon damage core. Yeah. Now, the reason why is I wanted a little bit of damage for my weapon. I did not want to just shoot marshmallows. And this actually bumps me up to 103k for my capacitor, which is nice, especially with the damage to armor and damage targets that it cover. Now, as far as the Cheska bonuses, we get crit chance, which helps out our capacitor, but then we also get hazard, which we do need. As far as the attributes, we have weapon damage on here. It's the only item with weapon damage. We have hazard and explosive resistance. Like I said, all items are going to have that. And then we have bleed resistance on here because I wanted to be at 100% bleed resistance just in case. And you'll see in the gameplay, bleed resistance, explosive resistance, all this, you can't be hit really hard with a Stinger Hive, explosive Seeker Mine, explosive Sticky Bomb, mortars. Nothing is going to hurt you with this build. And that's why I'm not even running Unbreakable. I didn't even care to run Unbreakable because literally nothing is going to mess you up. So what I did is I went with Obliterate. I went with Obliterate just to get a little bit more damage on the build. And it's nice. It's not bad. I think if you wanted to go Unbreakable, you could easily go Unbreakable. But for me personally, I'm not a huge fan of that talent. So I went with Obliterate. But again, you could use whatever you want because it's not going to hurt or mess with this build at all. The way this build is set up, you're so tanky and the resistance is so high that this chest piece talent doesn't even mess with you really. I mean, I just wanted it for more damage. But if you want to go Unbreakable and be like a super troll, you could. You could easily make this red weapon damage into an armor and then go unbreakable and then be like a super tank. But I like this one. You get more damage, and they start to freak out when they throw skills at you and it's not working, and then you're shooting them and they're about to die, and they're like, oh crap, and then they run away. It's pretty funny. Now back to the build, chest piece, Lingmo. Now the Lingmo brand set bonus for this build gives us explosive resistance. We have armor for the core, again, hazard and explosive resistance for the attributes. And then this one, ensnare resistance. I didn't want to get riot foamed or anything at all, so I went with ensnare resistance because now I'm not even going to get touched with the foam either. And then obliterate, again, you could use whatever you want, but I like to have that more damage. It is nice. And then that leaves us with our last item, the Y'all Gear Gloves. Now, Y'all Gear, the one-piece bonus, gives us 10% hazard protection. For the attributes, we have armor for the core and explosive resistance and hazard protection. And that, my dear agents, is the build. You truly only need the specialization and these gear items, and that's it. You can use whatever weapons, whatever skills you want. It truly doesn't matter. Hell, you could use whatever chest piece talent you want. I mean, the backpack talent, I would say, is a must just because that extra bonus armor will help out with your survivability, but you don't even really need that either. Because if they're hitting you with mortars or skills at distance, none of them are going to touch you, and then none of these talents are really going to be useful, right? So, and that's why I'm saying you could use whatever you want. Now, going to the stats, this is for the capacitor. We're sitting just under 103k weapon damage, but that drops to 41.1k in PvP. We're at 30 crit chance, 75 crit damage, 75 headshot, and then 12 armor damage, and then don't forget about the damage to targets out of cover. For the offensive tab, we're sitting at 51% all weapons damage bonus and 30% assault rifle damage bonus. So every time we're using the capacitor, we're sitting at 81% damage bonus total. We have Adrenaline Rush and Obliterate. For the defensive tab, we are just under 1.8 million armor, but that would be rounded up. So we're sitting at 1.749 for that armor. And then for the health, we're at 363k. Now, for the cool numbers, we're sitting at 90% explosive resistance and 90% hazard protection. But remember, with the demolitionist specialization and my mods, we're at 100% bleed, we're at 100% burn, we're at 100% ensnare, and we're at 100% shock. So a majority of the status effects in the game are not going to touch you at all. And even if they did, you're at 90% resistance, so they're going to be gone within 1 second. And that really is it. Now, the 10% to the hazard and explosive resistance, 10% of each of those is due to my watch level. So I do need to give you my disclaimer for all my build videos. So I am sitting at watch level 8706. So that means all these boxes are maxed out 50 of 50. Now, if you are at or above shade level 1000, you'll have the exact same setup. You can copy and paste my build and get the same numbers and results. It's really nice. The expertise is not going to make or break the build at all. And in fact, expertise doesn't help your resistance at all. So as long as you're shade level 1000, you have these attribute boxes maxed out, and then you copy and paste my build, you'll have the exact same setup. The expertise would only really help your armor a little bit, but it's not really going to matter. And that, my dear agents, is the build. So I hope you enjoyed the build breakdown. If you found this helpful or informative in any way, shape, or form, please hit that thumbs up. Support the channel by subscribing. I do daily Division content, so make sure you ring that notification bell. That way you don't miss a single one. But again, that's it for me. I'm Kamikazevondoom. Take care of yourself. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace out. And like they say, roll that footage. Ha-ba! All right, so as they are fast traveling, let me show you their builds. I've got Bishop here. He's going to hit me with mortars and explosive sticky bomb. Both are tier 6. And then I have Canadian here. He has a glass cannon, perfect combined arms, tier 6 skill build, and he's going to be hitting me with skills as well. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the group. And then that way you guys can pop rogue on me.
DZ drop incoming.
maybe, yeah, have you guys pop rogue on me. That way I don't pop rogue and have everyone and their mom look at it. So just go into this checkpoint, or go into the dark zone and then hang a right, and then we're going to run all the way to this corner over here and test. That way we should be out of the way of anybody. I got some dark zone.
Incoming dark zone drop.
I mean, I'm still hitting for just under 200k. Oh, no, I'm hitting for over 200k on my capacitor in the dark zone. That was a 300k. 319 crit. Nice. Oh, there's Canadian. Alright. We should be left alone now. Oh, nope. A few more. Dude.
Dark zone drop has been delivered.
What is up with all these enemies?
Contaminated gear detected.
This isn't a landmark. Like, I know it's not. This is where I test, but this is a lot of NPCs. Dude, and they're coming out with more? Holy moly. Alright. So we should be good now. So what we are going... Oh, dude. Oh, there we go. Alright, cool. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have them just... basically just hit me with everything in the kitchen sink and see what I can take. So we'll probably not do mortars and skills at the same time. We'll probably just test, you know, one person at a time just to show the effects. But this is the build.
DZ drop.
1.7 million armor, and I'm not using Unbreakable. You can use Unbreakable if you want. I'm just going to use Obliterate just to get a little bit higher damage. But like you could see, I was already hitting over 300k in the Dark Zone with 1.7 million armor. All right, so again, we have our two buddies. Where are they at? Oh, they're over here in the back. I see them. Let's start with the mortars. So Bishop, if you guys want to pop rogue and then just hit me with some explosives, let's see what happens. All right, there's this tier 6 mortar. All right, here we go.
Nearby agent has gone rogue.
You should be able to hit me from right there.
Rogue agent nearby.
Oh!
Hostile.
You can keep hitting me with it.
Detected.
But you can see how the mortars aren't really hitting me at all. Or hit me with a explosive sticky and a mortar. Let's do both. Nice. Nothing. All right. So we can see that the mortars are really not going to mess you up. And this is with a tier 6 mortar build. Let's see. Canadian, do you want throw a Stinger Hive? Maybe some Seeker Mines. You guys can throw whatever you want at me. Because if that mortar's not going to hit me, I'm not scared of anything you guys are going to throw at me. So just throw whatever you want at me. It don't matter. Let's see what it takes to get this build down. Now maybe... I think if you didn't want to go damage, you could probably go like efficient. That way you could just keep hitting your heals.
Hostile explosive.
And this is all with tier 6 skills. This is hilarious. This is good. Oh, here comes that hive. Uh-oh. That's a tier 6 hive. Look at that, dude. Look at that. And with the mortar on me. That's ridiculous. And that's the way. I like it. But then even with that, I mean, let's see. I'm hitting, ooh, almost 200k. And that one was low, but dude, oh, it's because Canadian has glass cannon on. Oh, okay, I get it. Nice. All right, cool. I mean, I don't really know what else to test there. It's pretty clear.
Hostile artillery turret detected.
I mean, unless there's any other skills you want to try. I can't think of any other crazy skills. Try like a burn sticky, I guess. but the burn's not going to work because I'm at 100%, so I'm not really sure. And then look, I can get my obliterate stacks. I can get my obliterate stacks up. And then let's see what I can hit you on. Let's see. This is going to be hilarious because he hasn't healed up yet. 223. Nice. That's a burn sticky.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is nothing, man. I'm digging it. All right. We've got a new resistance tank build. Very good.